The strait is blocked. 20,000 of our people are trapped out here. We have to do something.
So there's a huge crisis unfolding at sea, like right now. And it's threatening everything: global trade, our energy supplies, and literally thousands of human lives. We need to talk about the Hormuz crisis. And it really boils down to this one single number: 20,000. Just let that sink in. 20,000 seafarers. These are the folks who make global trade happen. And right now they're trapped, they're stranded on their ships in the middle of a conflict zone. And hey, you don't have to take my word for how serious this is. This is a direct quote from the head of the UN's maritime organization, the IMO. He basically said the situation is unacceptable and unsustainable as he kicked off an emergency meeting. So yeah, when the top dogs are sounding the alarm like that, you know it's bad. All right, so to really get why this is such a massive deal, we got to look at a map. Because at the very heart of this whole crisis is this crucial global artery that's pretty much been shut down. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, think of it like one of the most important highways for ships on the entire planet. Something like 20%, a fifth, of all the world's oil flows right through this tiny passage. But now, that highway is closed. It's putting a massive chokehold on our energy supply. And look, this isn't just some what-if scenario. We're talking more than 21 commercial ships already hit, directly attacked since this thing blew up. For the crews on those ships, this isn't a shipping lane anymore. It's an active, incredibly dangerous war zone. But you know, it's easy to get lost in the big picture strategy and the economics of it all. The real story here, the one we really need to focus on, is the huge human cost. And that price is being paid by the people working on those ships. So let's talk about what that really means for those 20,000 seafarers. They're stuck on more than 3,000 ships. They are literally facing bombs and drone strikes. People have already died. On top of all that, their food, their water, their fuel, it's all running out. The stress is just unimaginable. And it's leading to this terrible risk of something called crew abandonment. So what even is seafarer abandonment? Well, imagine this. The costs of operating in a war zone get so high that a shipping company just goes broke and walks away. They just leave. They leave the crew with no pay, no supplies, and no way to get home. It's an absolutely devastating situation for people who are just trying to do their jobs. Okay, but this isn't just happening over there. The crisis is sending these huge economic shockwaves all over the world. And believe me, it's going to affect supply chains, and yeah, it's going to affect your wallet. Right away, the biggest hit was on oil prices. Because of this blockade, oil shot past $100 a barrel. And you feel that everywhere, right? At the gas pump, sure, but also in the price of just about everything you buy. And that kicks off this whole domino effect. Shippers obviously are avoiding the conflict zone, so what do? They have to reroute their ships all the way around Africa. That journey is way longer and way more expensive. So what happens next? Insurance costs go through the roof, shipping rates skyrocket, and all of that just pours fuel on global inflation. All of a sudden, the cost to move anything has just exploded. So with the stakes this incredibly high, you'd think the world would come together for a quick, unified solution, right? Well, not so much. What we're actually seeing at this big emergency meeting is a world that's totally divided. Yeah, the two sides are just miles apart. You've got Western and Gulf countries calling these unjustifiable attacks by Iran. But then Iran turns around and says this whole mess is the inevitable consequence of what the US and Israel have been doing. It's a total deadlock, which makes finding any kind of solution, pretty much impossible. So you might be thinking, why not just send in the military to escort the ships? It's a fair question, but that idea has gotten a really cool reception. Even the head of the IMO called it an unsustainable solution. And you can see why. It's just not a guarantee against modern threats like drones or underwater craft. Okay, so let's recap. Military action is a no-go. Diplomacy is stuck in the mud. So what now? Where do we go from here? Well, the focus is shifting. It's all about the immediate humanitarian crisis and trying to find some actual practical solutions. And that brings us to the biggest question on the table right now. Is it even possible for the international community to hammer out some kind of deal to create a safe corridor? Not to solve the whole war, but just to get these thousands of trapped seafarers and their ships out of there. So the maritime groups are pushing hard for real action. Number one priority, that safe corridor. But they're also demanding really basic human things, like let the crews call their families, let them swap out crews so people can go home. Let's get a coordinated security plan in place. Right now, it's all about one thing, the well-being of these seafarers. And that kind of leaves us with this final, really important question. When the highways of global trade turn into battlegrounds, who really pays the price? I mean, we all feel the economic pain, for sure. But what this crisis makes crystal clear is who pays the ultimate price. It's those 20,000 people stuck on the front lines, just trying to do their jobs.
If you found this useful, hit like and subscribe for more maritime exam and seagoing knowledge.